All right, chat. Let's have a talk here. Let's have a talk, chat. We're going to talk about this subject again. We're going to talk about this subject again here. Is streaming harder than a 9 to 5 job? Is it harder than a 9 to 5 job? The answer is, if you want the TLDR, right? No. Can it get difficult? Yes. Because a job is a job at the end of the day, and there are moments that it does get difficult sometimes, but it's not hard. It's not hard. No one cares about Hassan. Shut the fuck up. Every job has its difficult moments because that's just how life is at the end of the day. Okay? But calling it hard is not. All right? It's not hard at all. All right? I just want to give the TLDR before we jump into the video because I know some people click off the video in the first like 10 seconds of the video.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about this online debate that has been sparked. It's been pretty much going on for years now. I've already made videos talking about
It's always so dumb that we always keep talking about it again, you know, back again or so. It just comes back. It just comes circling back again of saying like, "Oh, streaming is hard." And I'm just like, I'm over here, right? I'm just like over here who streams like a really long time because I just enjoy yapping my fucking flappy ass mouth. I enjoy fucking flapping my mouth, you know, and talking to my community, hanging out with my community and everything like that. So it's like I'm like, if I can do it for a really long time, there should be no excuse whatsoever, you know?
more specific incidents of basically Twitch streamers saying the exact thing we're going to be talking about here. But basically, this whole debate has been around whether or not streaming, content creation, YouTube, whatever online content creation you really want to bring up or insert, whether or not that's harder than like doing a 9 to 5 job. Let's say, you know, working at McDonald's or being a doctor or a brain surgeon or in the military or like a warehouse employee or a fucking factory worker. You know what I mean? Like, there's all the different quote unquote normal jobs out there that make up like 99.9% of the workforce. And then there's the like few thousand people on the planet like me who, you know, we get to play video games for a living and just talk about shit that happens on the internet, or, you know, like in some of these Twitch streams, they just basically
Just give her fruit snacks. She'll be fine. She'll be fine for like another 5 hours, okay? Alright? Fillion will be fine if you give her a cup of fruit snacks, okay? Alright, she'll recharge really quickly, okay? She's a tiny person, you know? Tiny people always have a lot of energy anyways. They're like a chihuahua, you know? They just keep kinda they keep barking at you, but they don't do anything though, you know? That's how much energy they have, you know?
literally read chat and that's all they do, or they'll like film themselves eating, or they'll go to the coffee shop with a camera on them. And so there's this debate, and it's primarily sparked by Twitch streamers and live streamers in general. I don't know if
Oh
there's
shoot,
some
I'm
sort
drunk.
of specific disconnect that really causes them to think
Fillion is a chihuahua, got it? The amount of energy she kind of radiates chihuahua energy, so because like chihuahuas have so much energy that Fillion just gives me like chihuahua energies. That's what literally what she gives me because she has so much energy. She's doing like flips, you know, doing all this other crazy shenanigans on stream, you know. I'm just kind of like, man, I can't even do that, to be honest. I do not have that much energy, you know.
this more frequently. I
Oh
will
yeah,
have to
she's
assume that
great,
if
you
Twitch
know.
streamers are saying this and believing this, you best believe that there's also TikTok stars out there, YouTubers and whatnot, who also think the same thing. So now I want to be fair during this entire thing because let's be real, there's realistically no actually good way to bring up this argument if you're the people actually trying to say that streaming is harder than a 9 to 5, because let's say you're one of these Twitch streamers, you have thousands of people in your stream watching you, right? And you just bust out with the, oh yeah, me sitting here and playing Fortnite, this is harder than a 9 to 5. It's a lot more mentally taxing. There's a lot of things I go through that you guys don't go through at your jobs. There's pretty
hearing someone say that sentence or so, if someone ever says that or so, is kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh, it's so hard to stream, man. It's hard being a streamer, trying to get these dubs in Fortnite. I'm trying to get these dubs in Fortnite.
Pretty much no way ever where that's just gonna like sound good, you know what I mean? Almost every single member of your audience is gonna hear that shit and they're gonna tune it right out. It's gonna be immediately disregarded because to the average person, the concept of even being a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber or whatever have it, that's just a foreign concept. That's not something that they will ever realistically achieve. And I know that that may sound a little harsh, I don't really mean it to, but I think that it really kind of pulls into
No, they just need a reality check, They need a good, slapping across the face and be like, wake the fuck up. It's not that hard, okay? All right? Like at the end of the day, like, can it get difficult at sometimes? Sometimes, yes. When your internet goes out, you can't really do anything about it, and you can't stream. Like that's a difficult moment because that's out of your hands, you can't do anything about it, Or like if you're editing, or if your editing software breaks on you or something like that, or or anything of that sort of nature, like those kinds of things are kind of like out of your hand, that you can't do anything about it. So you kind of like, I usually try to update my community and be like, hey guys, I'm having issues with my video editing software, so there's not going to be any videos for this week. I'm trying to fix it or so, or trying to quote unquote trying to fix it, but I'm having some difficult of doing it. So yeah.
Into the grander thing that I'm talking about here, I think a lot of people have this fundamental misconception of what this job really is, what it actually takes to be like a great content creator online. The difference is obviously that it comes with from a normal job, right? There's a lot of different things, trust me, and I'm not gonna
also when you streaming for an hour and not a single sub yet, don't people have $5? Yoko, you got a Dakimakura image anywhere? No.
say that,
you want to know something? I love the $5 meme girl because I always make fun of her every time. Don't you have $5? $5 and you guys are watching me for hours? Oh my god, dude, that's just fucking hilarious every time.
No.
I should probably get that as a redeem.
Being a streamer,
I need to download the sound clip for it.
With 40,000 people watching you live every given second of your stream.
I've said this multiple times. I cannot make merchandise out of my model because I do not own my models. Once I get my own model, that's a different story,
I'm not going to say that that's like light work, you know what I mean? Because realistically, yes, there are challenges, there are struggles, there's things that everyone's going to go through when they're...
Exactly. See, Optimus understands immediately, like, yes, there are difficult moments, but it's also in every job too. There's also difficult moments in every job. Maybe you're just having a shitty day, It happens, It happens from time to time.
Creating content on the internet. That's just part of the journey, right? I've been doing YouTube on this channel for 12 and a half, almost 13 years now. And in that time, obviously, you learn a lot of perspective. You learn a lot of different things about the internet in general, about how all these algorithms work. And of course, you gotta...
To be honest, I have no idea how the algorithm works. I just upload whatever the fuck I want to upload, so...
deal with negative comments and stuff. There's all the like normal shit that everybody talks about, but you see these streamers and it's almost always people who are like clearly millionaires or like at least very financially well off. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody streaming is going to ever be a millionaire, but like there's people who espouse this belief, right? Who they're getting thousands of monthly subs on their Twitch channels, or they're making thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars per month. And once again, not to trivialize it or anything, but like we're playing fucking video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of
for
course.
instance, this video, it's just me talking about this sub.
I hope you can get blown up and get your model and following for you and your mom co. What do you mean by following? I just wanna like the one thing I wanna do or so is buy Mama Azathoth a house, you know, a pretty good like a pretty good decent house, you know, so then she can be happy. And then I want to do whatever her bucket list is, you know. I want to buy her, you know, like I want to buy her, you know, well not buy her, but I want to like at least like, you know, she can go take a vacation, you know, and like experience, you know, the world and stuff like that, you know, and pay it for her. Have her retire so then, you know, she can focus on doing some of her hobbies that she wanted to do, right? Cuz she wanted to do some painting. Um she wanted to open up a business, you know, of selling her food. And I wanted to, you know, I want to do that for her, you know. That's basically is what I want to do for her, you know. She does, but like I want to give her something because she was there by my side when I was literally on the verge of death, basically. You know, with my low percentage of like living, you know. Yeah. So like she couldn't hold like apparently like I think if I remember correctly she told me she couldn't hold me for a while because I was like in a box or something like that. Like I was in some kind of box or something. Um because of my immune system was like scared, like it was super scary how weak my immune system was, that the doctors tried everything in their power to make sure I didn't die to like the most tiniest disease or something, you know. Like apparently it was that pretty bad or so. Hey Lucy. That was like the only thing, you know. She's making banging pupusas, I bet. Oh, dude, her pupusas are fucking amazing. I know how to make her pupusas. So one day, you know, I'll be able to open up like maybe some kind of restaurant in the future with her pupusas and everything like that. So I know how they're made and everything. So it's fucking good.
Subject overlaid with video game gameplay, right? Like, I'm sorry, we're not doing brain surgery here. We're not building fucking advanced rockets and stuff that go to space. We're creating videos for the internet. We're creating live streams for the internet. And sure, there are specific challenges, but
Yes.
this overall broad concept of, oh, it's so much harder than a 9 to 5, I just can't agree. And I think part of that is because I've actually worked like normal fast food jobs before, and I've done other like work outside of YouTube. I know that not everybody who streams or makes YouTube videos actually has a job beforehand. You got to think a lot of these people, especially new people coming up, a lot of the time they're like 18 years old, right? They are maybe
Yeah, that's also true at the same time. A lot of the new content creators don't really like have a job, never got a normal job. They just like went doing content creating at a super early age and then well, you know, Lord it behold, you know. You know, I'm kind of happy personally. I'm kind of happy that I had a normal job first and then I did, you know, YouTube/Twitch later, you know. Because then I can tell you fun stories or so throughout my like entire years of working, you know, in the workforce, you know.
maybe fresh out of high school or a couple years out, and they just blow up overnight into being a streamer or a YouTuber or whatever. They're making all this money, right? So for a lot of these people, they've never actually even
I'm just way too humble, to be honest. Like me personally as a streamer/content creator, right? I'm way too humble and I'm always very harsh on myself because I know for a fact that I can do better. Like I know for a fact I can do better, you know. At the end of the day, my content is like the bottom of the barrel, right? But at the same time, right, I have to start, you know, on the first step to, you know, in order to create some better content in the future, right? Like I have to start from the bottom and then work my way up, you know. Like yes, can I technically work, you know, work on the best projects that I want to do? Yeah, but you won't be seeing a video until like every year, maybe 2 years, or maybe every 5 months or so, you know. I'm just saying.
held jobs. And, you know, some of them have. I'm not going to say that all of them are like this, but some people who think shit like this and feel this like almost entitled mindset of, oh, woe is me, my job is harder, they realistically, many of them don't have any actual experience like in the field. And even then, like myself included, like a lot of the jobs that some of us did have, they weren't necessarily like the fucking front lines of the world by any means. You know, I worked at fast food restaurants. These are basically jobs that anybody with eyes, ears, fucking hands, feet can do.
He fucking killed civilians. I was just watching the gameplay. I was like, why are you killing civilians? You already killed the target that you needed to kill. And he started killing people on the fucking boat. Goddamn, Optimus, I never knew you were a psychopath. Fuck. But yeah, at the same time, right? Entitled, I feel like some of them are entitled streamers though. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care who you are. I feel like you're an entitled streamer 100% if you're actually thinking that, you know, streaming is hard. It's not hard. Okay? It's not hard at all.
Right? So there's jobs out there like where people are slaughtering livestock, or they're in the fucking military in war zones, or they're chopping down trees out in the forest, or they're building roofs all day out in the sun, right? Like there's a lot of jobs out there that I definitely would not personally envy, right? Like not jobs that I'd want to have. And no disrespect to the people who do them. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who act
one day. It's one step at a time. Course, I'm working my way up. I want a good community that, like, you know, that wants to come hang out with me, that likes to spend time with me, who wants to get to know me, you know, and all this other stuff, you know, where, you know, if you get to know me, I'm a pretty fun individual. You know, a lot of people usually judge me in the first couple of seconds. I'm like, you're not gonna get anything from me in the first couple of seconds. Just come and hang out with me for a bit, and you're gonna find out why I'm, you know, I can be a pretty fun, entertaining person from time to time. Hello. Thank you for the followers, though. You know, if you're just gonna you know, judge me in the first like minute of the video every single time, it's like you're not gonna learn anything. So, and that's just the only thing, you know. It's just it is what it is, you know. And one day I'll be able to, you know, I'm gonna make my community proud. I'm gonna make everybody proud, and I'm gonna make some really good, you know, some really good fun content in the future, like far off into the future. You know, I'm gonna have some fun. You know, I have some good ideas that I want to do. Some like that's why I want to open up like kind of like an animation studio to upload, you know, cool animation stuff on the channel. You know, for you guys to have some quality content too as well with that. Maybe we'll do some like, you know, because I'll open up a game studio, maybe give you guys some like game development and stuff like that, trailers for like the games that we're working on, you know, or inside or behind the scenes of like certain games that we're working on, you know. So I found you from Mamako recently, and you rose up to be one of the top streamers I feel like I can vibe with. I rose up. Wait, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I don't know how to pronounce that name. My pronunciation of names. I don't think I'm that super amazing at streaming personally. I think my personality is just kind of like pretty much the same as everybody else, you know. But I try to be as entertaining as best as I can, you know. I like you even when you scare me with your metal screeches. Well, because I used to be a metalhead in the old days, you know. I used to, but it's not as perfect anymore. It used to be a lot more perfect in the old days.
Actually do enjoy that stuff, and like that's their calling in life. But you know, for me, that wasn't the case. For a lot of people, it's not the case. And for a lot of these streamers, they don't have any like experience really talking outside of Twitch or doing anything out of that. And so when you hear them say like, oh, it's so much harder, I have to deal with the Twitch chat, I have to deal with hundreds of comments a minute sometimes, and it's like, realistically, you're not gonna read all of those comments anyway. Like that's the one thing about the chat argument that always gets me. You'll see like, they're like, well, look at this chat I have to manage. There's just so much going on, right? There's so many people here watching me. The pressure, the pressure it puts on me mentally. Like, I don't know, at least for me, I compartmentalized this in a pretty peculiar way very early on into my career. For instance, at this point, on average, every time I make a video, right? Every time I voice is heard on this channel, there's essentially an NFL stadium worth of people that are gonna watch that video. You know what I mean? If this was like a real talk show, I'd be, you know, talking to like a fucking sold out Super Bowl crowd. But it's just the internet. And obviously I'm not talking to any of you directly. I'm talking in a microphone in my studio. So they always, oh, but the chat, it puts pressure. I understand that, right? Like you gotta perform because it's live and everything, but this isn't something that only you have to go through. I mean, for instance, think of the waitress at your local diner. If she doesn't perform, if she's not on 24/7 at work.
Yeah, the waitress, you know, the cashiers, the people who do customer service, they have to play, you know, they have to play a certain role. You know, they have to act a different way, you know, towards customers, even if the customer is like yelling at them or fucking throwing soda at you. Yours truly. I've gotten soda thrown at me because apparently it was my fault that we ran out of chicken for some apparent reason, even though I'm just a person who takes orders. So it makes no sense. But yeah, I had shit thrown at me for some apparent reason. You know. Hey Solar, how you doing there, hun? Yeah, no worries. Get some good rest. Thank you for coming by as always. Very much appreciated, hun. You get some good rest, okay, hun?
Work, you know, smiling, giving guests friendly service, getting the plates out, you know, at the right time and making sure orders are correct. She may not.
I don't think yet. Not yet. I don't think streamers killed mainstream stuff just yet anyways. Just yet. Because a lot of older folks, because there's still a lot of older folks that still watch like mainstream stuff, you know. I think once that specific generation passes on to a new life or so, then I think you might see a dip downwards towards mainstream media stuff.
Get tipped, and therefore, you know, she may not be able to make fucking rent. Like, these Twitch streamers are not the only people who have to act under pressure, you know? Imagine being a fucking frontline grunt in the military and there's bullets whizzing past your head, right?
That's
like,
true.
I would assume there's some pressure there too. Now, of course, you know, you're gonna have some people, oh, but optimist.
But you can't crack under pressure though. Just letting you know. There is a lot of pressure when it's the military stuff, when like you're on duty and everything, but you cannot crack under pressure. That's like one of the biggest things you can't do. I know that for a fact.
You're making extreme examples. Most people don't have to deal with that. You know, it just isn't a fair comparison. And I guess, whatever, right? Like, I mean, honestly, there's millions of people in militaries around the planet. And then there's like, what, a couple thousand professional streamers and YouTubers and whatnot, right? The comparison is completely fair in my opinion. But that's the thing is like, but the pressure, the chat, it's like, once again, you're not reading the chat all the time, right? Most of the time you're doing whatever it is that you're focusing the stream on. You have moderators that are like going through the chat and making sure that people, you know, commenting shit.
I don't even have moderators, you know?
Like show your butt or whatever, or getting banned and like kicked out of the chat, right? So they act like they have to like manage the weight of 40,000 people on their back all at the same time. And I mean, if you just sit there and you really think about the technicalities, I guess sure, you could work your way into a whirlwind of thinking about it. But realistically to me, it just comes off as cope when I hear this, right? It's just, oh, but I need to find a reason. I need to find a reason to tell these people how hard my job is. And that's what comes off the least sincere about these comments, right? Like I said, it's really hard.
No, like even then, like I think in order for me to have like a moderator, right, it would have to be like if the chat is scrolling pretty fast or so, right? If we got like, let's say for example we got like 100 people watching me at the same time, right? And there's like 100 people in chat speaking at the same time, then yeah, of course I would get me a moderator because I wouldn't be able to keep up, you know, playing the game and then doing chat at the same time. That's a different story, you know. But since the chat rotation is pretty slow, you know, I can definitely see everybody's messages here, you know, and I can like keep up pretty easily, you know. But once the chat starts moving like at a speed of fucking light, you know, then of course I'm gonna consider on getting some moderators for that, you know. That's a different story. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get me some moderators because I can see chat going 20 miles per hour every single stream, so I'm gonna need someone or so to pay attention to chat while I'm, trying to, play the game or so, and then, having to look back at stream. So you mean we just have to type real fast? So when there is 100 crazies, yeah, when there's like 100 people, when like all 100 people are like speaking and talking at the same time, right? Because that means the chat will be moving pretty fast. So I would have to keep up specifically with chat itself, or
Hard to
try
even
to
say
keep up,
something like that to your audience with a straight face and not basically get laughed out of your own stream to begin with. But even if you like were to somehow, a lot of the time they're basing these arguments on these like really weak points. And a lot of the time it's just shit that everyone goes through anyway, right? Like, making content here on YouTube, I also have to deal with the comments, but I also don't, you know what I mean? Because YouTube's moderation does most of it anyway. I mean, it says plenty, right? Like if you, let's say, went to like the average first grade classroom in the United States, right? You just walked in, there's like what, 25, 30 kids in first grade there, and you just did like a class poll, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm gonna assume that like 20, maybe 25 of those kids are gonna say shit along the lines of, I want to be a professional athlete, or I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a TikTok star, I want to be a professional gamer, I want to, something like that. I want to be in movies. It's always shit like this. It's always like the creative, like cool, high paying, high fame, high status, whatever. It's always the shit like that. It's very rare when you hear kids say, yeah, when I grow up, I want to spend 12-hour shifts picking up trash cans all day and riding on the back of the trash truck. And
A garbage man. You want to be a garbage man?
Fortunately, in America, the kids who do say things like that, who look up to their parents who do work these jobs, they usually get laughed at by their fucking classmates. Because those kids want to be like Kim Kardashian, or they want to...
Ew, who the fuck wants to be Kim Kardashian? Ew. Ew, that's actually, ew. Ew. Ugh, no, thank you. I think if I it's fine. Like, to be honest, it's fine for kids to dream that like they want to be like a movie star, a Hollywood actor, or be president, or whatever other, or be a doctor, or be a lawyer, or be something famous, right? Like, it's okay to be like, oh, I want to be a singer. I'm like, that's fine. There's no problem with that, right? But like, I would probably educate my kids specifically about the topic itself, right? And be like, okay, so if you want to be an actor, you're going to have to go through this, you have to go through this, and you have to go through this, and then you have to go through this. You're going to have to go through all of these steps in order for you to achieve or try to achieve, because it's a pretty heavy competition field at the end of the day, right? Like, you have to outshine the other competitions and all this other stuff, like there's also little nuances in between, in between the actual stuff itself. So, which I'll probably tell them like a little bit more later when they get more older, right? About the little, the little details of things you have to watch out and stuff like that. And it's the same thing if my, my son wants to be, he wants to be a singer, if, let's say my son wants to be a singer, right? I'd be like, okay, well, if you want to be a singer, make sure you have this, make sure you have a backup plan, if, just have singing as a side gig and not have it as a main gig until you actually get to a certain point of view where the singing career pays for everything. Once the singing career pays for everything and you are confident that you can take this to the next level and everything like that, then you can leave your job. Then you can leave that job and then you can pursue your goal as a singer, and that's pretty much it. And then I would tell them, but don't be just like me. Don't be like me and ruin your vocal cords. Sing from your diaphragm. Don't sing from your throat. We're going to give you classes and you tell me what you think about the classes for singing. If you don't like the classes for the singing stuff, for vocal teaching and stuff like that, then, you can look for a different, for a different thing, and then that's pretty much it. Like, I would just literally, just inform my kids, this and that and that and this, so I want to be a plumber, doctor, astronaut, mailman, and pizza delivery guy.
Be like
This
Ninja,
guy.
or they want to be like Kai Cenat. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck about
I don't know how I feel for my kids to be a Kai Cenat clone. I don't know about that, to be honest. I don't know.
building prefab homes to make sure there's enough neighborhoods in their town, right? They don't care about replacing the water mains and shit so the infrastructure of the city stays put. They want to fucking film TikToks in their bedroom all day, man. They want to play video games. Now, if it was so much harder on Twitch, right? It was so much more mentally abusive, you know, it was so much more just horrible compared to the grind of a 9 to 5, right? Why is it that all these kids want to do what we're doing? You know what I mean? Why is it that all these kids, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, or I want to play video games for a living? Why is it that they want to do these things if it's that they're just so fucking difficult, they're so hard for the average person to comprehend? Now, the argument might be, Optimus, people don't realize what they're signing up for when they start content creation. It changes. There's a lot that changes. There's a lot of dynamics that flip once you start gaining the success. And sure, that's absolutely true, but it's not like you don't have any warning signs before you go into it. There's been thousands of people in these fields who've come and gone already, who've already set the examples of what can be accomplished in these careers. And I mean, if you ignored all of that shit on your come up and you didn't prepare for that mentally, like, yeah, things might change if I have 100,000 followers, then realistically, this probably wasn't the job for you in the first place, because
Yeah, that is very true. Well, me, I never really knew what I wanted to do to third-party expectations. Now I'm job searching to have something to spend the rest of my life with.
how could you not look ahead that far if, like, that's what you were planning on doing? Like, you didn't think that things might be different between having 2 people in your chat as compared to 4,000? Like, I don't know. When you hear this, it makes no sense, because realistically, in no way does it compute. Like, sure, I will admit, there's a lot of moments during content creation where, you know, you're putting deadlines on yourself. There's, you know, the pressure to exceed your past results. But these are not things that are unique to making these career paths, man. And that's what I wish that more people who say this shit would actually, like, really comprehend. And I think it's that disconnect between them and the real world in a lot of instances that really kind of hammers this all home, because, you know, let's say for a lot of these people, they've probably been streaming professionally and making content professionally for years at this point. When you're 3 months into it, you know, you still have the perspective of what it was like before that. But if you've been doing it for 7 years and you've just been focusing on it every fucking day, basically, I think your brain warps. And I mean, like I said, I'm fucking 12 and a half years deep into this shit, man. It is completely different mentally than when you start out at that rate, you know what I mean? And when you've just been doing it for so long and you start to disconnect and all that shit just becomes distant memories of you going to school or working before this, right? When it all just gets so distant, I think a lot of these people just
Yeah, kids used to dream about being a football player, an astronaut, or a king, or a king. Yeah, a king. I heard that quite often too, as well. Or football playing king in space. Now they just want to be a TikTok famous. That's why for me personally, like, I don't want my kids to have TikTok. My kids are probably not gonna have social media or a phone until like way later, till way later.
just forget in a way, you know, like, wow, having to deal with customers screaming in your fucking face as compared to some mean comments on the internet, it's a little bit of a different ball game, you know? And I guess to wrap this up, right, I'll just go ahead and make a quick comparison between my job in the past before I really blew up on this YouTube thing. And
I never was. iPad never existed during my time. Like, ever. In the void we never had iPads. So we had a what is it? We had a what was it? What did we had? We had something like this. I think if I remember the name. We had this. We had this. We had this. And we also had this. We I don't think I can find it. There was a specific phone, right? That people used for like for for music. I guess you could say it's like the Android equivalent during that time. It was a lot more skinnier. It was a lot more skinnier of this one, but instead of opening it like this way, it would flip to the side. And it was called like a razor. It was called like a razor something, you know. I think it was called a razor. It was called something else. I know they had a promotion or so called chocolate or something like that. You know, they had like a chocolate something like that. It was like something like this, basically. Yeah, it was like this. Yeah, it was like something like this. It would switch to the side and you would use it as like as a this. I think this was the one. I think this was the one specifically that I'm talking about. But yeah. This was a lot of people who used for music players. Yeah, it was from Verizon, yeah. Yeah, this was the one. This was the one. You used to have that phone? Take care, Dark. Get some good rest. Get some good rest. Only the rich people had this kind of phone specifically.
And now, right? So when I worked at the pizza place that I used to work at, there were homeless people that lived in the alleyway behind the restaurant, right? And this was a known thing at the store, like everyone knew what was going on, but when we made trash runs, we had to do it in duos because they may attack you.
Oh yeah, I remember CD players and MP3 players, yeah. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a phone until way later.
With fucking knives and with weapons and try to steal the food from you from the trash. When you're basically looking over your shoulder, taking trash out 3 runs a day every day you go to work in the summer, hoping that a homeless man doesn't stab you in your fucking back in your high school ages because he wants some, you know, day-old pizza. It's a little bit different than some mean comments coming your way in a Twitch chat, or, you know, your stream software not working properly, or like your internet connection being too unstable to stream for a day. I don't know. It's such a first world problem in all reality. And I wish that instead of just sitting here arguing, oh, is my job harder than the people who are fucking, you know, making my food or building my house or putting my car together or keeping the airplanes in the sky afloat? I think instead of just like constantly comparing yourself to everybody else out there, you should be comparing how lucky you are and how fortunate you are to have this job in the first place. Because believe me, it's something I think about quite frequently. You know, this is a 1 in a billion opportunity where you basically get the chance to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about for a living. You know what I mean? And sure, you can sit here and you can focus and dial in, oh, this is the hard parts, these are the parts I don't like, it's so much worse than this and that, and I'm this compared to that, and to win and there. You can do that all you want. But at the end of the day, you should just be more focused on the fact that, man, I get another day of getting to do this shit, right? I get another day of getting to work this dream career, of getting to accomplish my own personal goals in life. I think it's a really stupid argument. I get really tired of seeing it, honestly. I wish that it would just go away. But unfortunately, there's always going to be these kinds of comments, right? Because I think in a way it's almost human nature for us to compare ourselves constantly to everybody and everything else around us. And even though I think that it's a really unhealthy mindset, it really doesn't help, you know, bode well with your audience or anything. I think that it's going to be one we continue to see, man. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe.
Like, he's not wrong at the end of the day. I do have to say, like, a lot of the streamers are pretty entitled or so when they blow up, specifically when they don't have when they never had a job to begin with. Like, not all of them, right? Like, some of them, right? There are some that are like that. You know, there are others that who had a job initially and did YouTube for the side, and then, you know, so forth, so forth. Like, that's what I did initially. Well, I had technically the channel that I have right now specifically was a combination of two people running the channel. It was me and my friend. He would do the commentary. I would get the gameplay, and then that was like pretty much about it. And we were kind of gonna do it like a duet kind of type of thing or so, channel type of thing. This was initially how it was until I opened up my own YouTube channel later on. But I really didn't do much with that YouTube channel because I kind of forgot the password after a while. I forgot the password after a while, which was the Vods channel. I don't remember when I created that thing, to be honest. I really don't. So, it's the Vods channel. The Vods channel is technically my channel. This channel was technically a team effort job. So, and that's pretty much about it. So, but then my friend got busy, unfortunately. So he gave me the channel rights. He literally gave me the channel rights. So I just kind of like changed, I changed a few of the stuff here and there, and then that's pretty much it. All I have is just videos, like old videos of what we used to do in the past, and that's pretty much it. I still have them. They're privated, so. And that's frankly it. So. But he was the one that I hanged out quite a lot, and I learned a lot of his speech pattern from hanging out with him. So pain in the ass, unfortunately, because I absorbed too much of his, when hanging out too much with a certain type of person, you pick up a certain speech pattern from them. You take a little bit from them specifically, and wow, Lord behold, it is what it is. So Sponge the good stuff. I guess so. I guess, but I get comments. I get comments every so often of them saying, "Why do you say so much?" You know, like just shut up. Just let it go. Just leave it alone. It's like, or people would ask me, where are you from or so? Because you say so much, so much, so. And I'm like, shh, quiet. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, it is just a speech thing that I got used to from my friend. My friend would sometimes say, I think my friend would sometimes say so a lot too as well. It just kind of got engraved inside of me after a while. Yeah, it's my difference. It's just my difference or so with me. I try not to say so every so often, but and it's just kind of engraved inside of me because of my friend. But yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Like I said, streaming is not hard. It's not hard. Are there difficult moments? Yes, but it's part of a job, though. Any job has a difficult moment at the end of the day. It doesn't make it anything different. But streaming is not hard. It's not hard at all. Even if I had 1,000 people in my chat right now, I still would say the same thing. It's not hard. It's not hard, and it is what it is. You can't pay attention to everybody in chat. You can't. It's not like I can go one by one or so down the line or so with my chat being super slow or so. I can't do that if I have 1,000 people in my chat. Because at least like 80% of them are going to be speaking all at the same time. The chat's going to be moving super fast. I can only read some of the comments for some people. And that's pretty much about it. So, but it is what it is. It's the territory or so. When you become, a little bit more popular, there's going to be a lot of comments. Like I try to, even for me, I try to comment. I try to comment everybody's comments or so on my videos as much as I can. Sometimes I just only give a heart and a like, and it's pretty much about it. Granted, there are some comments that I'm not going to reply to because the logic of some of those people don't understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, and it's pretty much about it. So your German accent is just way too strong. German accent? What? I have a German accent. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and that's what I think personally. It's not hard. It's really not hard. People who say it's hard is delusional. But anyways, That's it. And peace.